Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Tuesday, September the 10th, Committee of the Whole meeting for the Colleton County School District Board of Trustees. I would like to call this meeting to order. Please join us if you would like for the invocation, followed by the pledge.
This evening, as we think about the school family and community in Georgia, also the commemoration of 9/11 tomorrow, let's begin with a moment of silence. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you that we can be reminded in Romans chapter 15, verse 13, that you, the God of hope, will fill us with all joy and peace as we trust in you, Lord. You also can overflow us with your hope by the power of your Holy Spirit. We covet that this evening, Father, for ourselves and especially for our school community in Georgia, and Father, those that suffered from 9/11. Be close to those families, and we pray now together as you taught us to pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us of our trespasses, and forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I thank you, and I also thank the TCTC culinary students that are with us this evening as greeters, and invite them to the podium as they demonstrate our mission statement.
Green? Do you see green?
Our mission statement, Colleton County School District will prepare every student to graduate with a 21st century education to be globally competitive for their chosen college and/or career path.
I thank you. Could you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the program that you're involved in?
Yes, ma'am. My name is Lexi Stell-Smith, and I'm a part of the culinary program at my high school. This is my second year being in it. I'm in 11th grade, and I really love the program and the teacher. He's preparing us for the real world. He's getting our portfolios ready. He's helping us with scholarships in colleges and just how to be professional in the real world. Whenever we do graduate, we're not shocked by everything.
Terrific.
Yes, ma'am.
We thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, did you want to add anything? Can you tell us your name? Can you tell us?
Like to talk.
Not talking. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. And thank you to Chef LaShawn Williams. We appreciate all that you do. Thank you very much for bringing your students with us this evening.
If I may, Chef Williams and our culinary students got here a little early tonight, so they were actually here at the tail end of our policy committee, and the students were able to add some very valuable input as we were speaking about some of our policies. So I want to commend them for that, but I also want to commend Chef Williams. Our community right now has a very bad habit of wanting to post all of these negative things that happen in our community and in our school district. And I just think talking to those students tonight and talking to Chef Williams, we have a lot to be thankful for and a lot to be proud of, not only in our county, but also in our school district. And for many years now, Chef Williams and his culinary arts program has been one of those shining lights that we really need to make sure that people know about. They do and Chef Williams, please know that I'm buttering you up since you said you were cooking for us soon. But they have done lots of catering events and activities, and there are always wonderful compliments. You never hear anything negative about our culinary arts program. So I would just really like for us to give another hand to Chef Williams and his program.
Thank you, Mr. Irwin, and thank you guys for being with us this evening. Board members, if you'll please join me in reciting the civility pledge as presented. I pledge to build a stronger and more effective school board by advocating for civil engagement, respecting others and their viewpoints, and finding solutions for the betterment of my school district. I thank you. Please let the minutes reflect that Ms. Jones is not with us this evening, and we have 6 board members present. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Madam Chair, I make a motion we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded to approve this evening's agenda. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Motion carries unanimously. At this time, we'll move to recognitions. The core value represented in recognitions is every member of Team Colleton works for kids and makes important contributions towards becoming a world-class school system. I recognize Ms. Williams.
Thank you, Chair Whitkin, and I'd like to say good afternoon to board members and good afternoon to the public and also to our staff. And before I begin our above and beyond recognitions for tonight, I too would like to echo thank you to Chef Williams and the culinary arts students. They do such a wonderful job in our community, as Mr. Irwin stated, and I just thank you, Chef Williams, for making a huge positive impact on our students. So thank you once again. Tonight, I am starting a new recognition, and this recognition is called Above and Beyond. And these are staff members. It could be a teacher, it could be a staff member, it could be anyone who works at our schools and helps our children to succeed and our teachers and staff to succeed. And I've asked our principals to choose one person from their staff to receive the Above and Beyond Award each month. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to call each person's name, and if you're here, if you would please come and stand to the front, and then I'm going to read what your principal wrote as the reason you were chosen for this prestigious award, okay? So from Bells Elementary, we have Miss Diamond Berry. From Blackstreet Early Childhood Center, Miss Tracy Glover. From Cottageville Elementary, Miss Shalina Bennett. From Forest Hills Elementary, Miss Virginia Wilson. From Hendersonville Elementary, Miss Jalea Thomas. From Northside Elementary, Miss Michelle Phillips. From Colleton County Middle School, Miss Kathy Moultrie. From Colleton County High School, Miss Althea Daniels. From TCTC, Miss Denise Wright Johnson. And from our Adult Learning Center, Miss Ginger Armentrout. And if you would, please give these staff members a round of applause. Okay. And now I just want to read a little about why these staff members were chosen for the Above and Beyond. So if you would step out from Blackstreet Early Childhood Center, if you would just step up a little, and I'm going to read what Principal Tiffany Pearson wrote about Miss Tracy Glover. Miss Tracy is a special education teacher. She's an itinerant resource teacher. Miss Glover has gone above and beyond since even before the school year began. She has helped get our new exceptional learning teachers set up, from helping to set up their rooms, to sweeping floors, to helping them navigate new software. She has also shown up early and stayed late to assist with duties beyond her own job assignments. Additionally, Ms. Glover has served as the building lead when the principal has had to step out of the building for meetings. She helps students find their way in the morning, lends a helping hand wherever it's needed, and has graciously offered her expertise to the leadership team for the benefit of our Blackstreet Early Childhood Center hours. Last, but certainly not least, she volunteered to sing on stage at the district convocation so that I, Ms. Pearson, wouldn't have to do it alone. So for all of these reasons and more, Ms. Tracy Glover was selected as the August Above and Beyond recipient. Let's give Ms. Glover a round of applause. All right, and then Miss Bennett from Cottageville Elementary School, and this is coming from Miss Tashina Allen, principal of the school. Miss Bennett has been an integral part in transitioning one of our international educators into the classroom, but most importantly, making sure that she gets to work every day. She has made herself available to assist in finding a permanent location for our international teachers to live, and she has been an encourager and always is willing to lend a helping hand. So let's give Miss Shalina Bennett, first grade educator at Cottageville Elementary School, a round of applause. Okay. Miss Virginia Wilson from Forest Hills Elementary School, and this comes from Mr. Joe Guarino, principal. Miss Virginia Wilson participated in inclusion training for Forest Hills over the summer and has since gone above and beyond in applying these strategies. So it's one thing to attend the training, but another thing to apply them. So we applaud you. She regularly stays after school to collaborate with 3 different teachers, working closely with them to implement the inclusion model. In addition, Mrs. Wilson has taken the reins as the on-site support for 2 of our virtual teachers of exceptional learning. She also provides invaluable assistance to 2 new exceptional learning teachers who have joined Forest Hills Elementary School this year. Mrs. Wilson's dedication far exceeds her expected duties, ensuring the success of both our Cougar Cubs and her colleagues. So let's give Ms. Virginia Wilson a round of applause. And then last but not least, we have Miss Ginger Armentrout from Colleton Adult Learning Center, and this comes from Mr. Chris Horvath, Director of our Adult Learning Program. Mrs. Armentrout, who is our Administrative Specialist for CALC and the South Carolina Technical Assistance Network, provides administrative assistance to the Technical Assistance Network, Region 4 for South Carolina Adult Education. She was instrumental in facilitating work agreements and related arrangements for the annual South Carolina Adult Education Summer Academy held in Horry County this summer. Nearly 110 adult education professionals participated in 7 College of Charleston College classes designed for adult educators. Mrs. Armentrout's actions enable lifelong learners in adult education to focus on learning as she provides exemplary customer service for the adult education professional. So let's give Mrs. Armentrout a round of applause. And I just want to say again, thank you for your exceptional service. Thank you for all that you do for our students, our families, and our community. And if you would, I'm going to get a picture first, and then you all can shake our board.
Thank you, Ms. Glover. We appreciate you. Thank you, Ms. Bennett. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Wilson. Appreciate you. Thank you, Ms. Armentrout. Thank you. Thank you.
Chair Whitkin, that ends recognitions for tonight.
Okay. Now, thank you, Ms. Williams. Ms. Hyman, do we have any public input? Okay. Board members, do we have any unfinished business? Moving on to new business, the South Carolina School Board Association legislative delegation meeting will be held on December 7th through 8th in Charleston. And board members, the School Board Association has asked that we identify a delegate as well as an alternate to be present for voting purposes at the delegation meeting. It is also a weekend of legislative advocacy, so the conference itself is open to all board members to attend. Again, that is, I think it begins Friday evening and runs through the weekend through Sunday, so I think Saturday is the 7th. Am I right on that? But anyway, if you are interested in becoming a delegate, we will vote on that next Tuesday for submission to the School Board Association. So please look at your calendars and let us know if you would like that nomination to represent our school board.
Saturday, Sunday.
Thank you. Moving on to policy items, Mr. Irwin.
Madam Chair, thank you. We did have a policy committee meeting tonight and discussed several policies that we will be bringing before the board for first reading next week. And then we do have a couple that are kind of time sensitive that we need to make sure that we get through. So board members, as you receive those policies in our packet for next week's meeting, please make sure you look over those. And if you have any questions, I will do my very best to answer them next week.
Thank you, Mr. Irwin. Superintendent's report, Ms. Williams. The superintendent's report identifies the core value of effective leadership, supports learning and optimal performance for all students.
Right. Thank you again, Chair Whitkin, and greetings to board members and members of the public again. If you would, please, Ms. Fox. There we go. All right, thank you. So each month, I highlight a community partner who works to further our mission and our goals of the district, because partnerships are very, very important to the success of a school district. So this evening, I just wanted to highlight our partnership that we have with the Technical College of the Lowcountry, which I know you're very well aware of, but I wanted to emphasize it so that the public can know that there are many courses and certifications that are available to them, and some of these courses are available free of charge. Some of those courses are in the areas of allied health, business and professional development, computers and information technology, hospitality, industry and trades, technology, and also personal interest. And I just wanted to emphasize that Councilman Philip Taylor is the liaison for this partnership, and I just encourage our community to learn more about this awesome opportunity by contacting Mr. Taylor, or you can contact Mr. Horvath at the Adult Learning Center where this program is housed. The next slide talks a little bit about, I wanted to just kind of talk a little bit about our data. I know that there was an in-depth presentation that was presented by our coordinator of assessment, Ms. Tracy McDonald, in August. But tonight, I just wanted to emphasize our historical assessment trends in ELA and math for grades 3 through 8. And if you look at this slide, as you can see by the line graph there, the percentage of our students that are scoring meeting and exceeding expectations on the SC Ready assessment decreased in the 2020-21 school year. And everyone knows what happened in the 2020-2021 school year. And this can be attributed to COVID. However, our ELA scores began to increase back to pre-COVID percentages in the 2021-22 school year, and now has surpassed those pre-COVID percentages. Math, on the other hand, is increasing to pre-COVID percentages, but has not quite reached it. So, however, this data does indicate that we are growing, and that's the main reason I wanted to show this slide, just to show you how, yes, we took a big dip, but we are slowly climbing back up to reach those pre-COVID percentages that we have. Also on this slide, you can see in third grade reading data, the percentage of students meeting or exceeding grade level expectations has seen growth from that decrease in the 2020-21 school year. And our 23-24 data indicates that we have 32% of our students in third grade meeting or exceeding expectations, as compared to 19% in the 2020-21 school year. Are we where we need to be? No, we're not, but we are growing, and I think that we have to celebrate those successes. And, you know, if we continue to put some of the initiatives in place, which I'm going to talk about later, in place that we have in the past to grow and continue that with fidelity, we are going to continue to make the mark so that all of our students can meet or exceed expectations. Our grad rate has also increased, and I didn't have this on the slide, but I just wanted to emphasize that our grad rate this year is 78%. Our grad rate last year was 75%, so we're growing. If you would go to the next slide. The next, this particular slide just gives a summary of how the school, South Carolina school report cards are calculated, and state law requires that there are certain indicators that are measured. And Mrs. McDonald went in depth concerning this, but I just wanted to let you know that there are several indicators there, as you can see, that includes academic achievement, student progress, preparing for success, school climate, and others. And I want you to know that when our school report cards are calculated, academic achievement is just one portion of that calculation, that there are many other indicators that that have to be taken into account with the calculations. The rating scales are excellent, good, average, below average, and unsatisfactory. And as you know, currently we have 2 schools with an unsatisfactory rating, and we have 4 schools with a below average rating, and we have 1 school with an average rating. However, based on our, you can go to the next slide, based upon our current assessment, state assessments and other indicators, the timeline for the release of our new report card ratings is October 10th, 2024. So we're looking forward to October 10th to get here so that we can see what our new designations are. I'm pretty confident that, you know, we have grown as a district, but on October 10th, we will see exactly what our school ratings are. The next slide basically just talks a little bit about what I said before. You know, if we continue doing those things that will help our students to succeed, then we will continue to grow. And some of those things include the turnaround plan core strategies, which we talked about in depth last year, that included providing intense interventions and acceleration for our students, also providing robust stakeholder engagement, and also increasing the culture and climate of our schools. We also have a turnaround task force academic plan as well. And this plan came into being from our State Department trainings that we did last year. Our district leadership team participated in. And the goal of our academic plan is to increase the capacity of our principals so that they in turn can help to increase our student achievement. And I just wanted to talk to you briefly about some of the things that we're doing in that particular arena. One of the things that we have done is we have provided a district level support person to each of our schools. So each school has a district level staff member assigned to them them to help them with instructional type things and also management type things as well. So they have that person that they can reach out to talk with if they need that support. We also have district level monitoring sessions that will begin next week. So our district leadership team will be visiting each of our schools and sitting down with our principal and their leadership team and going through their data and looking at their instructional data, looking at their attendance data, looking at their behavior data, and just talking about how we can improve and what we can do to make things even better. And then we also have our curriculum and instruction team that goes out and does classroom observations and, looks to see, what instructional practices are being implemented in the classroom and how those practices can be improved. Or we can utilize some of those teachers that are doing a great job and let them help other teachers so that they can reach that mark of instructional excellence as well. So I just wanted to let you know that our continuous improvement efforts are continuing, and we're not letting up, and we're hoping for the best.
Superintendent Williams, hats off to the middle school for a great parent meeting last week, explaining to their parents how they're working to increase instructional time and pre-setting goals individually and helping students. I just wonder, when do parents receive that individual student data? Has that already come out from the state?
Yes, it has already been delivered to the schools. The schools have it, so it's up to the principals now to deliver that to the parents. I do know for the middle school, Principal Peoples is going to give those out at the open house. Each one of our schools will have an open house between now and when the first report cards go out on October 14th. But from my conversations with him, he will be giving those reports out on October 14th.
If you could just include that next week for parents and, our viewing audience to know when schools are going to give that information out.
Sure.
So the parents can be expecting that to come home.
Okay, most definitely.
Ms. Williams, as a parent, I've already gotten some.
Okay,
Yeah,
great,
so that
great.
has been released. Just asking if the 2 slides before this, the historical assessment trends, as well as the specifics on the school report cards, that's valuable information to, explain a lot of what the average person may or may not know about our report cards. I think that deserves a link on our website for individuals, and also if it could be linked to our State Department of Education so that information and data can be easily found.
Most definitely, that won't be hard. Ms. Fox, you're on it, right? All right.
Superintendent Williams, I
Yes.
appreciate the one slide showing the reading. That was new from our last meeting, correct? The reading information?
Yes, most definitely.
And I wondered if we could, if it's not too hard to do, is look at statewide. I see we're improving and getting back from where we were after COVID, and that's a positive trend. I just wonder if there's a way to show where we are statewide when we're looking at that for our district.
Yes, as a matter of fact, all of that information was included in the presentation that Mrs. McDonald did back in August. But if you want that added to the website, we can do that as well.
Okay. And just next week, if you could just mention that along with this, because it's a good snapshot, but put the state comparison. I'd appreciate that.
Okay, not a problem. Sweet. Okay. Okay, so the last slide, or the next slide, may not be the last slide. Yes, the next slide. Just wanted to talk a little bit about our inclement weather makeup days, just to make sure that everyone is well aware that we will have to make up 2 of those days. I know we had some e-learning days when we were out for Tropical Storm Debbie. However, we did not utilize all of our e-learning days because we only have 5 per year. So we will have to make up 2 of those days. And those days that we will make up will be, those makeup days will be October 8th and it will be October 9th and January 7th. Those are the two makeup days. However, I am recommending, and this is something that I'm asking for your vote at the next board meeting, I am recommending that we switch October 8th to a full day instead of a half day, and October 9th be our half day. So October 8th will be the full day, and then October 9th will be the half day. And I'm asking for your support of that at the next board meeting.
Do we know at this time if there's any changes in the district that need to be considered in making that decision? For instance, any events already scheduled on Tuesday or Wednesday, athletics or otherwise?
I don't have that information. I can find that out and have that information for you at the next board meeting.
Okay. And I just, because it's only a month away, and so I think we need to kind of get ahead of this communication to parents specifically, and staff, because of that change. The 8th was a day designated for parent-teacher conferences, half day.
That's
so
correct.
So then, assuming then staff work all day on the
And then the 9th was a teacher work day.
So they'll work all day
Right.
on that Wednesday, is that correct?
Well, I am asking, the 8th will be a full day.
Okay.
But I'm asking for the 9th to be a half day now.
For students, but full day for staff?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay?
So we would take action next week on this?
Yes.
So if we could just have a calendar in our packet, I'd appreciate that, so we can see, the full change that we're voting on.
Most definitely. Okay, we can do that. All right, any other questions for me? I do have some introductions to make. Okay, all right, so as you know, we have a new director of student nutrition for the school district, as well as a new safety and security coordinator. And I would like at this time to introduce the two of them. Our new director of student nutrition, and if you would please stand, is Ms. Christina Wallace. And I'd like to just let you know a little bit about Ms. Wallace. Ms. Wallace has 14 years of experience in food and nutrition, and she is now a part of our team. Ms. Wallace earned her bachelor's degree in food and nutrition from Fort Valley State University and her master's degree in education with a concentration in nutrition education from Framingham State University, and she's very experienced in working with state and federally funded programs. She believes that proper nutrition supports not just physical health, but also cognitive development, so that every child can have the access to essential nutrition to learn, thrive, and reach their full potential. So we'd like for you to just recognize Ms. Christina Wallace and give her a round of applause. And we're so happy to have you, Ms. Wallace, as a part of our team. Thank you. And then I would like to introduce our new coordinator of safety and security, Mr. Christopher Glover. And Mr. Glover, he is a seasoned professional with extensive experience in both law enforcement and education. He spent 5 years as a state conservation law enforcement officer with the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources, managing diverse responsibilities across Orangeburg and Calhoun counties, including political protection, crowd control, severe weather emergencies, manhunts, and locating missing persons. As you know, he served as the 6th grade assistant principal at Colleton County Middle School, and he also holds a Bachelor of Science in Professional Biology and a Master of Education in Educational Administration and Supervision. And so we would like to welcome Mr. Christopher Glover as our coordinator of safety and security, and if you would please give him a round of applause in his new position. And our hearing officer is not here, but our hearing officer is Mr. Terry Dingle. He will serve in a part-time capacity, and I'm sure all of you know Mr. Terry Dingle. We're so happy to have him joining us as well. So that ends my report. I will be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
All right, thank you.
Human Resource Report, Ms. Hamilton.
Good evening.
Good evening.
In your report this month, I've included our recruitment fair dates. So we have 2 scheduled for September and several scheduled for October. So hats off to Ms. Fanchette for coordinating this, and she has several school-based teams who will be joining her in these efforts. Today, Team HR had the opportunity to kick off year 3 of our Human Capital Network in Columbia. We had a phenomenal day, just a phenomenal work day. I'm excited to get with the team to update our strategic plan for recruitment and retention and update our superintendent on our efforts. We have New Teacher Academy scheduled for September the 18th. And then I am very delighted to announce that Team HR will be doing, I know I have on here HR listening tours, but after today, we're going to call them HR listening labs. And it's just a way for us to glean feedback in real time so that we can bring timely solutions. I have included for you our vacancies to date by subject area, our content area, grade level. And at the bottom of that sheet, it should be 12 instead of 15. I'm sorry, my math was off, but 12. And then for Collin County High School, Collin County Middle School, there's a total of still 16. And then I put those content areas for you. I also included the number of full-time teachers that we have to date for general ed and for SPED. Be happy to answer any questions you may have about those. And then I am pleased to announce that we're still awaiting 2 outstanding international teachers, the husband and wife dual, coming from the Philippines, so they're just waiting on their Polo Embassy interviews, and then once those are cleared, they will be with us.
Finance, Ms. Barrett.
Good evening to everyone. You have my report. I just wanted to highlight the LGIP, which is our investment fund for the month of July and the month of August. As you know, rates fluctuate, so in August and July, we had received $84,491.05 worth of interest. In August, we received $72,970.47. So the total to date, just for interest for LIGP, we received $157,461.52 that we got gain on our interest on our LGIP. You have my report. If I were here to answer any question that you may have, if you have any questions.
Ms. Barrett, I don't have any questions today, but I'll get with Ms. Williams just to kind of provide a little additional information. In the past month, this school board has been presented to our Colleton County Council for a mill increase. And there were a lot of questions that were asked of us and you about our finances. And so I would kind of like to share some of that information with the public. I don't think individuals know exactly, well, it's hard for our community to truly understand the collaboration between our district and our county and how that funding works. And so if I can get with Ms. Williams and you this week and maybe next week, kind of share some of the information. Nothing new. This is information that's there, but trying to maybe set up a better explanation so individuals will understand the investment that any type of tax increase or revenue increase to our district will benefit our county.
Yes, sure, for sure.
I thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions from Spirit? At this time, I'll call on Dr. Jenkins for the Academic and Student Affairs Report, recognizing that the core value in the Academic and Student Affairs Report is our core purpose is teaching and learning.
Good afternoon. To our esteemed Madam Chairperson and Vice Chairperson, to our revered school board members and Superintendent Williams. I am pleased to provide updates this afternoon on behalf of the Division of Academics and Student Affairs. Our division is comprised of the following offices: the Office of Curriculum and Instruction, the Office of Exceptional Learning, the Office of Federal Programs, the Office of Adult Education, the Office of Student Health, and the Office of Student Support Services. I already provided you with a report, but this evening I would like to share highlight a few updates. Interim reports were issued on Thursday, September 5th. Report cards will be issued for the first quarter on October 14th. For additional important dates, refer to our 2024-2025 school calendar, which is listed on our Colleton County School District website. From the Office of Exceptional Learning. The OEL office works in partnership with Mindset Agency. They've trained 25 district personnel in the Train the Trainer mindset process. These trained individuals will provide small group training with the school staff during their PLCs, their professional learning communities, or during other scheduled times approved by the building leader. The Mindset Training Program is designed with a clear goal to facilitate insight, raise awareness, enhance skills, and ultimately certify professionals in a system for preventing and managing aggressive student behaviors. And there's a list that was provided to you to explore. this curriculum. From the Office of Adult Education, the Certified Nursing Assistant course of the Technical College of the Low Country will run from September 17th to November 7th. The classes will take place on Tuesdays through Thursdays from 9:00 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And I just want you to know that Colleton Adult Learning Center is still an official Pearson VUE testing center. Here's an update from the Office of Student Health. Beginning September 19th, the nursing department will conduct district-wide screenings for students in grades pre-K through 12. Information will be posted on our district's website, our district and school websites, and forms will be sent home with students to their parents. Lastly, from the Office of Student Support Services, as of September 4th, 2024, there are 4,404 students enrolled in Colleton County School District. Thank you for listening to my report. I will gladly entertain any questions.
Ms. Jenkins, just think it's appropriate time to thank Bells Elementary invited the school board to their first grandparents parade yesterday morning, and it was a beautiful event, and the community was there, and all of their teachers dressed in their Bells T-shirts, and 3 board members were able to be there, so it was a wonderful event, and we thank them for inviting us to be a part of their first grandparents parade.
Awesome, thanks. Thank you for acknowledging Bells. Go Bells.
Dr. Jenkins, day 45 is what? That's a major tally date for student enrollment, and that is in October. When is that? When is day 45?
Pardon me, what's the exact date?
Yeah.
For day 45?
Does anyone know?
October 14th.
Okay. Got it. And so the board we can look to get that exact number as far as and that will be submitted to the State Department, day 45 and day, what is the other day in the spring?
135.
135, okay. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Dr. Jenkins?
I appreciate you providing the public the information about adult ed in case they're not aware of the wonderful things that are happening.
Okay.
And free transportation, right? You told us?
Yes, it's free. They will provide you a schedule. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jenkins. At this time, we'll hear an ESSER update from Dr. Reed. The core value represented in today's ESSER update is organizational development and professional growth opportunities for all employees are essential to becoming a world-class school system. Dr. Reed, and I think maybe Dr. Wright or Mr. Hamilton for the ESSER-funded project update.
Okay. Well, good evening, board members. It occurred to me as I was walking up here that this is going to be the last month that I talk about the ESSER funds because we're quickly drawing to a close. You have my report. Essentially, as of the date of that report, we were a little less than $2 million, but that's all going to be gone. Most of that's going to be gone out the door. I talked a little bit the last time I talked to you about the late liquidation, meaning we already encumbered, and that's what the building projects, and Mr. Hamilton and Dr. Wright will talk to you about shortly. We've already encumbered those contracts. What we're going to do now is have more time to pay those bills. And so what we did was we requested about 1.9 million of that 2 million left to just encumber. But for the most part, we're spent out in terms of our ESSER funds. Colleton County has done a great job. All of the team here has invested wisely with those funds. If we can get some that folks are not going to use, we'll use those wisely as well. But we did use those funds wisely. Any questions from me?
I do not have a question, but I do want to say, Dr. Reed, thank you very much.
Sure.
Even through different administrations and different superintendents. You have been the steady through this whole process with the ESSER funds, and you have done an incredible job throughout. I know with all of them together, it was well over, or at least close to 30 million, wasn't it?
About $34 million
About
in
$34
total,
million.
yes, sir.
So thank you very much for the work that you have done in making sure that the money was done correctly and that we got rid of all of it and didn't waste any of it. So thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Reed. Moving on to operational management, Dr. Wright. The core value represented in today's operational management report is a safe, secure, and positive environment will be conducive for teaching and learning. Thank you, Dr. Wright.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the board, Superintendent Williams. As we reviewed the presentation from the Division of Operational Management, I would like to highlight some changes specific to how the division will move forth with providing our school board with completion status for projects listed by the Office of Buildings and Ground, the Office of Student Nutrition, and possibly the Office of Technology. The change will include moving from a statement such as in progress or completed to an actual percentage regarding the project's completion. For example, tonight I would like to direct you to our nail and barbering project listed under our ESSER facilities project. We have the Office of School Facilities anticipated inspection, final inspection, to take place on 9/12/2024. As you look at the project completion, we're at 66%. In deliberation with the team, we thought there would probably be in the industry prospect to give board members and the community an actual percentage of completion, so you have a better picture at where we are in the completion of these projects across our school district. I would like to move on to another example for you, Madam Chair, looking at page 4 regarding maybe the district office roofing. We're at 0% completion right now, and a part of that process is that we've just concluded our process regarding awarding our possible bid situation for that. And so as we conclude that project and we start beginning that actual work, you'll see that percentage move from 0 to 30 to 50%, whatever that completion project may be, as a couple of examples for tonight. As we look at the capital improvement projects for this evening, the same process is in place to bring a little more specificity to giving our community and our board members where we are in terms of completing that project. I would like for us to move on, if we can, to the Office of Student Nutrition. We are in the process of looking at getting new kitchen equipment for the schools that are listed. And while we are starting that project, that's a good example of where we're at 0% of completion because we're in the starting phase of that project. Moving on to the Office of Transportation. The Office of Transportation, we want to give a couple of updates because we don't have any new project updates regarding the Transportation Office, but we would like to let the board know that as a result of evaluating all the roads in the county as a result of the tropical storm we recently experienced, all the roads in Carleton County are now open and are ready to go. As we move on to the Office of Student Athletics, one of the highlights I would like to bring to our boards and community attention is that on last week, but right before 2 days before our initial first home game, we organized a communication blast to our community to let them know about the expectations for safety and security and even student behavior. We sent that information out to our communities, not just on our district website, but we have asked all the schools to use their class dojos to help us to facilitate that information. And you will be elated to know that at that first home game, we've had one of the safest home game activities with 0 incidents reported regarding adult misbehavior or even student misconduct.
Awesome job.
I will entertain, Madam Chair, any questions board members may have as specific to this report this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Wright. Once again, you must have heard my prayers that we see a % of completion or, next steps or status updated, and I'm sure you'll want that to increase.
Yes, ma'am.
As we move forward. And I'd even give yourself a little more credit for all the paperwork that it takes to get the bids processed. So I don't count that as zero for how much procurement,
Yes,
the
ma'am.
process that goes involved with the paperwork and the bids. One question I do have, and I apologize I didn't get to ask Ms. Williams before or you, but a community member asked me right before the meeting to ask any update on why some of the classrooms at the middle school don't seem to have air the last 2 days.
So, Madam Vice Chair, that will also be new information to me as well on why the middle schools doesn't have air for the past 2 days. But it will be an information point that I will get on this evening prior to leaving our board meeting tonight and facilitate a response to the superintendent to the board.
Thank you. We've had cool weather, but a grandparent noted that kids were complaining about the heat in
Yes,
some of the
ma'am.
classrooms, that
It'll
the
be
air
my
didn't
pleasure.
seem to be working. So
Yes,
thank you
ma'am.
for that.
Yes, ma'am.
And I appreciate you following up with that so that, we know what's going on. I know we're working on getting things improved there, so
Yes, ma'am. It'll be my pleasure to give you an immediate response to that question.
thank you.
Dr. Wright, how is our bus, the one that broke down, carrying our JV players? Is it back to full operation and working?
Thank you for that question. Hey, sir.
Good evening, board members.
Good evening.
Ms. Jessica. Just want to let you know that bus was on the way to Well Branch, Seabrook. That was one of our older buses, 2008. It had a little bus just came out of the shop. It was fixed and broke down 3 miles from the school. So it's swiftly been sent back to a vendor here in Walterboro to be fixed and diagnosed and see what's going on. That's the bus that's a little bit older, so we don't send it too far. Just in this case, it worked. But I have connections in Beaufort, so that bus was picked up and towed back to Walterboro. And another alternate bus was sent. There was 2 buses that were in travel, so the other bus came back only being 3 miles from the school, picked up the remaining few students and got them to the game on time. The other driver went on down to the game, and then we sent an alternate bus up there from Walterboro before the game was over, and everybody came back together.
Sure.
So
Thank you for that update.
It was a safe transaction, and what happened, hated it happened, but it was mechanical with one of our older buses in the fleet.
And they came home with a win, I think.
I think so.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bradley.
Dr. Wright, I do just have one, just for clarification. On the nail and barbering, we're showing 66% complete, but it says that the Office of School Facilities Inspection is in 2 days. So that's our final inspection before we can move into that space, is that correct?
And once that final inspection finishes, that percentage will go up to 100% completion.
So the 33% that we're currently missing now, or 34%, is simply the inspection from OSF?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
So I did want to just kind of elaborate a little bit on that as far as when that class will begin. I was in consultation with Mr. Kubik concerning that, and as you know, the students have missed a significant amount of instructional time because that class has not been completed. So yes, the Office of School Facilities is going to do that inspection on 9/12. However, there's more inspections that has to take place concerning our cosmetology board for the nail tech. So our barbering class will begin very soon. However, our nail tech class, we will wait until the next semester to start that class because we are not sure of the date that the cosmetology board will come to do their inspection and if they have any additional things that we have to do before we can implement the nail tech class. So in summary, our barbering class will begin very, very soon, within the next week. Our nail tech class will begin in January.
Dr. Wright, I have one quick question. The canopy projects, I noticed that both projects said that we bid multiple times and that we're still coming back over budget. What's our plans moving forward with those two projects?
Thank you, sir, for that question. Our plan at this point, since we've actually went through 2 cycles of putting that out for bid, at this point, when part of our new process in the Division of Operations, once we give our opportunities twice for bidding, the next step is we're moving on with job order contract process.
Okay, thank you.
And I think that was an effective strategy once we've given our bidders 2 opportunities to actually come in and bid on that. And since they're significantly over budget, the next opportunity at this point will be to consider the job order contracts.
And with the job order contract, they have to come in within our budget. Is that what I'm understanding?
To clarify, at this point, we really get to negotiate dollar for dollar with those job order contract vendors at this time. And hopefully through that negotiation process, given the scope of the work, that negotiation process will lead towards the potentiality of its coming underneath our bidded process.
Okay, thank you.
Our budgeted process, I apologize.
I appreciate that information, and I wonder, Superintendent Williams, if you would check with our attorneys and, of course, Dr. Wright, over operations to see if there was only one bidder, might there be an opportunity for renegotiation with the local bidder if there was only one bidder. I understand when we ask questions in a similar situation, that possibly could be considered. Of course, check the legalities of that, but if not, I'm sure you'll look at other possibilities, such as a job order. But we want to try to keep it local if we can, if it was an opportunity to negotiate there.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Vice Chair, we'll definitely do that. And just for public information, as the new operations leader, that was one of the things that we got on to initially, Mr. Hamilton and myself in the office, to put that back out for rebid, to hopefully, if you recall from the previous meeting, to advertise and to get any of our local vendors to really home in on this process, because we really as a division want to structure processes where our local people can take advantage of doing business with the school district. So that was kind of our overall goal for resubmitting that. Furthermore, that it came in too high, but that second opportunity was designed for that. And we wanted to go public just to let our public know, if you are a local bidder, you're a local vendor, we really want you to bid on these processes and get that local business and keep those local tax dollars as local as possible. While we cannot advocate for that, we certainly can advertise that and kind of promote that process.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
One more thing before we get off the topic. I just want to make sure we're getting apple for apple. If we're bidding on things and we're getting a product, I want to make sure we're getting the same quality product and not settling for a lesser quality with these job order contracts, if that makes sense.
Yes, sir, it does. And our intentions with the job order contract is to actually use our current scope and sequence to still narrow that focus. Our current scope and sequence is not going to change.
Okay.
The project scope.
Yes, sir.
I think just at this point, it'll give us probably a little more negotiation with the job order contract than it would have with bidding.
Okay.
So that's our goal. That's our hope.
Yes, sir.
And our goal is to be able to bring back to the superintendent and back to the board what that looks like and that dollar amount.
Thank you. At the end of the day, we want our Bells and Hendersonville kids not to be wet, right, Mr. Murdoch?
I have a question or kind of a statement in coordination with the capital projects that are being presented and the updates that we have, along with the capital project budget that we have to accept next week. And just looking at both of those to reconcile, I know that, like, for instance, the parking lot project, we didn't have enough money in last year's budget, so we have combined last year and this year combined to complete that project. So just looking at the capital projects that are funded for this upcoming year and trying to understand, you know, what money is coming over from the previous year into that project. Was asked recently about capital projects for the district, and this board, you know, approved the capital projects that were presented. However, everyone in the district presented to administration a wish list of projects. And so some of those projects didn't even come before the board because administration decided to prioritize. And one of the things that I understand, and Ms. Williams, please correct me if I am not providing this explanation correctly, but that the administration did try to prioritize two specific things for this upcoming year, and that was technology and middle school renovations are two major projects that our district is investing in our capital projects, and especially by way of funding for this upcoming year, which is why some things that other departments may have requested didn't get approved and are not line itemed. But, those are projects, Dr. Wright, that I think, as we start this school year, that just knowing where we are with that and kind of keeping up with that. Our middle school is one of our older but larger schools, and so just understanding what we have to look forward to as far as facility updates, I think the community is very interested in.
Yes, ma'am.
Two, technology is something that is constantly needing upgrades. And so just watching those line items and seeing as that money is invested, I think is important to understand our district is staying on top of the technology needs that our children have.
Madam Chair, thank you for that. One of the strategies that we are going to be putting in place in collaboration with administration, definitely our superintendent's approval and bring to the board, as an industry project, we're going to be organizing a capital improvement plan. That capital improvement plan and the base of that plan will be served based upon the needs of our school and having a facility study done on our school, so that facility study can be used as the data to chart what are the priorities, what are the needs in terms of operating facilities, technology, and our buildings. I think as an industry project, we need to be able to be transparent for the board to let them know, based upon the data, these are the areas from the assessment that needs our immediate attention, versus these are the ones that we can probably push off. And it will be best, my recommendation, and that's what we'll be working on, is facilitating and organizing a capital improvement plan to present to the superintendent and then in turn present to the board for consideration.
Sounds good. Appreciate that foresight. And just want to be able to share too, we really struggled in trying to balance this year's budget and had to go into operating reserve to do so. But the capital projects is a separate budget. And so really trying to prioritize what we use that funding for is important for our community to understand.
Absolutely. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions for Dr. Wright? Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I want to be able to share with the community that our next board meeting will be next Tuesday, September the 17th, and it'll be a regular scheduled board meeting at 6 p.m. Board members, do you have anything else you would like to announce or share? At this time, I'll entertain a motion that we adjourn.
Madam Chair, I make a motion we adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. Motion made and seconded for adjournment. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. We'll see you next week.